Hi everyone. In our previous video, we saw control statements in Python. There are three different types of control statement. And first one is a decision making control statement. Those are if else, and if elif else. And second one is a looping control statement. Those are for and while. The third one is not a type, but these keywords are very important to control the loop, which is specifically whether we break the condition or breaking the loop. For example, how we control the loops and conditions. So using break, continue, and pause. Let's continue with our previous video. We saw how to write if condition and syntax example, and how to write if else condition, syntax and example, and how to write if elif else condition, syntax and example. Let's see how to use logical operators used in if condition. There are three main logical operator in Python. Those are and, or, not. So for example, age equal to 25. Let's take input from the user, int of input from the user, and let's say has id, whether the user has id. So yeah, let's take input from the user. If age greater than 18 and has id equal to yes, if the condition satisfied, print you are eligible. If the condition not satisfied, print you are not eligible. Okay, so here what happens? So it checks the age. If the first condition satisfied, the first condition is true, then only it will go to the second condition. Otherwise it will throw, or otherwise it fails. It fails and move the loop to else, and that's how the AND works. Let's say this is for AND condition, and I'm executing. Okay, age 19 and has id yes. Okay, so when I give the age 19, the first condition true and the second condition also true, then the both condition true, it printed you are eligible. If I give age 17 at the same time, if it has id yes, so it is you are not eligible. So either of one condition false, the total condition becomes false because of and condition and rule. Let's see how or works. Or logical operator, same example. Or same example, if I use or, so either of one condition true, it becomes true. If the both condition false, then it becomes false. So it is much more sophisticated than AND condition. AND condition is very strict. If all the conditions are true, then print the you are eligible. Otherwise, print false. So okay, I'm giving 18 and I'm saying I don't have ID. No. Okay, so you are eligible. It has some issues. Okay. Okay, all good. So it says that I given age equal to 18 and either of the one condition is true, it printed you are eligible. Okay, this is a basic difference between or and AND. And let's move to not. Not is basically reverse of what you print. Okay, let's say print not true, which is false, and print not false, which is true. False and true. So if we use not, for example, if not true, say hello. If false, if true, say bye. So that's what the if else condition says. So if I print, okay, it says bye. If I create variable called t1 and take input from the user and use t1 here, okay, I'm getting any input. For example, if I get 1, so the one of is false and it printed by. Then let's see how to use nested conditions. Nested condition means conditions inside conditions, set conditions. The example is mark scorecard. Let's say the mark int of input, and if marks greater than equal to 50, okay, that means student passed. But I am checking by using nested condition. If marks greater than equal to 75, then print pass and distinction. Okay, if student only get pass but not greater than 75, then else print pass without distinction. So even if student mark is not even greater than 50, say else print student failed. Let's see. uh, let's give the mark as 55. So what will happen? The 55 will come here and store it into marks, and if condition will check if the marks greater than 55 true, and it will move to the next line if marks greater than 75 no false. So in that case what will happen, the first if is true, the second if is false, then it will move to the next statement, that is else, and print pass without distinction. So the pass without distinction, if I give 80, what happens, the 80 will come here and store in marks. If marks greater than equal to 50, 80 greater than equal to 50 true, and if marks greater than equal to 75, 80 greater than equal to 75 true, then it print pass and distinction. Pass and distinction. If I give 49, so in that case the input will take a 49 as integer and store it in marks. First condition checks mark greater than equal to 40 50, is it true? No, it is false now. Then what will happen, this will not go inside the if block and directly go to the next statement, that is else. It says student failed. Okay, that's how the nested condition works. Then we will see password example. I am declaring two variable, username equal to input of and password equal to input of. So here it reads the data, input data as a string. So both username and password read data, input data as a string. I am checking if username equal to, let's say our user is Python, and enter. Check if password is 123. Okay, then print login successful. If the username and password matches, then print login successful, otherwise say invalid password. Or if the username itself not matched, then say invalid username. Let's see. Okay, let's give the wrong value to Python. Okay, the password. Okay, it throws an error. Let's see what is this. Username is not defined. Okay, great. Now it will correct. Okay, Python as a username, password 123. Okay, so invalid username. Let's give a correct username, capital P Python, and username Python, password 123. Let's enter. Login successful. So this is how the if else condition used in password example. Then the next is looping control statement, for and while. Looping control statement. For and while. Before seeing for and while, let's take a quick look at range function. It is very important for loop. So the range function generates sequence of loops or sequence of ordered values. Let's see how to define range of 5. Okay, so when I give range of 5, it automatically take it as a 0, 5, which means start is 0 and end is 5. Syntax for range is range of start, end, and increment, or step count. If I print the same, the starting value is 0, the ending value is 10. So that means 0 to 9 is the first 10 values. The 10 will be excluded, the increment value I'm giving 2. Okay, so let's print the range of 0, 10, 2. It is the range of 0, 2. If I want to see the complete value, I'm going to use for loop. So the for loop iterating over sequences. That's how for loop works. The for loop is iterator. It's a looping statement. So how to define for loop? The syntax is very simple. Write for keyword and give some variable, let's say I, and use in keyword and use range method that we saw just now. Range of, let's say 0, 10, 2, and give colon, give enter, give indentation, proper indentation, and type print and I. So this is the basic syntax. So give for keyword, and there is requirement of variable, and in keyword, range method, colon, indentation, print method, and print the value. So if we do the same for I in range of 0, 10, 2, print of I, which means I am telling to Python print all the even numbers starting from 0. That's why I given step count as a 2. If you see, output is 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. So because of the step count, if we give 3, the output is 0, 3, 6, 9. If we give 5, output is 0 and 5. Always the index range starts with 0. And while loop in Python, it's also one of the looping statements like for, but it has some different rules, which is conditions applied. The loop the element until a condition is false. Okay, for example, let's say the count variable equal to 0 value assigned, and I am declaring while loop by typing while keyword. So like for loop, we need to type while keyword, and the condition required, condition again colon, while keyword space, condition required again colon, and enter, indentation required, then type your executable statement, the print of count, or okay, let's say code to run, then enter. So here we are handling incremental part separately, unlike how the incremental part itself handled by the for loop. For loop is little simpler than while loop in this aspect. So the count is 0. So here I am giving incremental increment value or decrement value. This is the basic syntax. Let's try a real example. Okay, so let's take same example. Count equal to 0 while count less than 5 colon, indentation required, print of count, and increment the count, because while loop required loop the element until the condition is false. So the count will increase from 0. Each loop it increases one value. So 0 becomes 1, 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 3, 3 becomes 4, 4 becomes 5. When the count becomes 5, so that means the 5 less than 5, the condition becomes false, then the loop breaks. So let's run it and see the output. Output is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I give count plus 2, output is different, 0, 2, 4. If I give count 3, the output is different, 0, 3. And maybe I can change the condition. Let's say the count should be 45. And I'm giving each time increment the value 12. So we have a 12 incrementer. So that means the output is 0, 12, 24, 36. So this is how while loop works. The while loop loop the element continuously until a condition is false. It is different from the for loop compared to while loop. Next one, nested loops, like nested if conditions. So nested loop is loop inside a loop. Okay, so here I'm using for looping statement to show how the nested loop works. For the same keyword, the for is a keyword, space, the variable, space, and in keyword, and right range method. So now here I'm printing 1 to 10. So which means I need to give 1 to 11, then it will print 1 to 10 because last value is excluded. The range function, I am choosing step count as a 1, then for again another loop within the existing rule loop. Okay, for same variable in keyword and range. So this time I'm printing 1 comma 10, 1 comma 10, which means 11. The last one is executed, so this will print 1 to 10. Command step value is 2, and give colon, enter, choose indentation properly, print I comma j. So here we are going to see how it actually iterate. For each I iteration, it will run for 5 times because I gave increment value as a 2 from 1 to 11. So for each I iteration, the j will run 5 times. For each I iterations, j will run for 5 times. Let's see how it works. Okay, so for the first iteration is 1, so it has run 1 1 1 1 1, then 1 2 3 5 7, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5 7 to 10. Let's reduce the value to 6. Okay, so this is the output. So this is how the inside nested loop will work. So basically what happens here is that, so this is just nothing but Cartesian product came from this one. Then next one, control loop flow, control the loop flow by using inbuilt keywords break, continue, and pause. Break, continue. The first one is break. So which means we are telling the program to immediately exit the loop, immediately exit the loop, no matter whatever running. So for example, for I in range of 1 comma 10 comma 10, if I equal to 5, break the loop. Okay, so to understand better, let me print the I also. When I reaches 5, break the loop. So let's see how it works. So it reaches I and printed. Okay, in that case, so let's print I here and see. That's great. So when the for loop started running, so it started from 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. When it reaches 5, the break statement helped us to break the loop. So this is how the break statement works. For more, let me remove this and type this. Okay, so this is perfectly working now. Then next one is continue. So the next one is continue. So what is the difference between continue and break? The break immediately exits the loop, no matter whatever running, when it meets the perfect conditions. But continue, what it does, skips the rest of the current iteration, and it moves to the next iteration of the loop. What it's actually basically doing is, it is completely different from break. The break simply stop the loop when it meets the condition is true, but continue do not break the loop, but simply skip the matched value and continue to the next iteration. So let's see the same example for I in range of 1 comma 10, and if I equal to 5, continue, but it do not break. So see the output, we will understand easily. So let me give the 5 and execute. Here we can see when I equal to 5, so the 5 was skipped. Okay, so let me give 2. Okay, so when I becomes 2, the 2 was skipped, but the loop continuously running until the final condition, that is printing 4. The last value 5 is excluded. The range starts from 1, 2, 3, 4. When it meet the 2, it simply skip the part and move to the next iteration and start printing 3 and 4. So this is the difference between continue and break. The next one is pass. Let's see how to declare this one. Pass basically, it does nothing. So that's why it is called pass. So this is more like a placeholder for code that will be written later. So the pass does nothing. This is more like a placeholder for any code that will be written later. So if we see the same example for I in range of 0, 6, so that means it starts from 0. It will print till 5, colon, indentation. If I equal to 3, pass. So that means it won't do anything, do nothing. Okay, print of I. Let's print the value 3. As per our conditions given, when I made the 3, it printed the value 3. So if we are printing, print before the if loop. Okay, indentation is important. Let me correct it. So it does nothing. So it just printed all the value 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's more like okay. So let's see. So if we don't have any code, if I run, it is throwing an syntax error, because the if condition always expects something to run based on the if condition, but I want to bypass it. So let's type pass and bypass the syntax rule, do nothing. So successfully it's printed 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 without writing any code, any block of code after the if condition. So basically if condition is waiting for someone in the future to write a proper code here. So the next example is the function. Okay, let me name it as future function, and I'm running, see the error. So it's also throws a syntax error because the function is incomplete. But if I want some code will need to be written later, I write pass. Okay, now the code will be added later in the near future. So it's successfully executed without doing anything. So this pass command is helping the defined function to run. So the overall summary is, so we have two different types of control statement: decision making control statements, those are if else, if else, and looping control statement, those are for and while. And we have 3 keywords: break, continue, pass. So these 3 keywords used to control the loop, and we saw how to declare by using syntax, proper syntax, and examples, and we saw the logical operators used in if conditions, then for loop and while